Manhood Academy podcasting. Wake up, wake up. It's time. Okay. We're on location right now. We're set to meet up. And her work schedule was in the way because she works till late at night. But we just basically said, hey, we need to apply more pleasure and we need to apply pain at the appropriate times, get our expectations met. And voila. We're meeting up now at probably around 9:30 p.m. So I got a few minutes beforehand, and I actually wanted to cover some things, and I thought there'd be internet connection around here where we're meeting up, but there isn't, so I thought, why not do a podcast on the road, the very first on the road Manhood Academy podcasting. Let's see. What I want to talk about right now. Oh yeah, I actually wanted to cover something that Wolfgang brought up. You guys, your view. Okay, let's talk about your view, your realization, how you see things. At Manhood Academy, it's not the practice, it's not the materials, it's not the instructors, not the other students. The biggest problem at Manhood Academy is, yep, you didn't guess it. It's not even Indians, as bad as Indians are. It's not Indians. The problem is you. Yes, you. You are your own worst enemy. Not the materials, not the practice. You know, these things may look difficult on paper, but really the real problem lies with you. And specifically when I say you, I mean your view. What you realize about things, what you don't realize, especially what you don't realize about things, and your delusions and distortions of things presented here at Manhood Academy. Your view is the biggest problem that's handicapping you from succeeding in your social interactions. Wolfgang 85 made an excellent post, and I wanted to cover it. He basically made a comment that made me think about this whole thing. And he said something that's kind of been voiced before. It said he feels like he couldn't do it. He feels like after listening to the podcast and hearing me talk to the girl on the phone, he basically thought, oh my gosh, Plum's so cool. This is like the Michael Jordan of social interaction. How could I possibly ever do that? And that made me consider, yes, when I see people that are more competent than myself, I'll consider, I can't do that. I just can't do that. There's no way I can get there. And I think like a lot of guys, I think we all grew up with a standard like, this is too difficult. This is so impossible. This is so, hold on a second, I'm being distracted here. There's a 50-year-old hag wearing a hot dress, showing the skin off, but when the face turns around, it's the crypt keeper. God damn, I hate that. I hate when 90-year-old chicks dress like 20-year-old chicks. Okay, back on track here. So he mentioned that he felt inadequate listening to me on the podcast. Like he was just, after a certain point, he's just, this is just too cool. It's just so far above me. I can never accomplish this. And it just causes a depression cycle. It's just like what I've experienced before when I used to see couples walking hand in hand and think, I'll never get in a relationship. I'll never be able to talk to a hot chick like that. I'll never get a hot girlfriend, etc., etc. And you just have these, self-defeating thoughts that just kind of like gain steam and momentum and then just depress you and you get in a cycle of just downward spiral. The cycle of negativity. No, forget I said that. We try not to use homosexual terms like negativity and, sometimes there's just no other way around it describing something, or if I'm just being lazy and I can't think of the term, I'll grab negative or positive, but I want to avoid those terms as much as possible to get more specific, because I hate when people say, you need to be more negative, you need to be more positive, because those fags have no clue what they're talking about when they say that. They basically mean you need to be happier or make me feel better, or, just some gay, moody term. They're not even speaking specifically about something, they're just basically speaking about how they feel. Something connected to their feelings. Feelings are not your enemy, but undisciplined feelings and unregulated conduct, unregulated behavior is the enemy. That's where you just get all sloppy and just do things according to how you feel. Like imagine if you could just get away with working when you felt like it, waking up when you felt like it, eating when you felt like it. What else would you do when you felt like it? Talking when you felt like it. That's part of the problem right now, is talking, socially interacting when you feel like it. Well, guess what? You guys are so incompetent that you will probably never feel like it. Maybe 1% out of your day you'll feel like talking, and the other 99% you want to crawl into the fetal position. That needs to be addressed. That needs to be dealt with. So, when you come across competence, sometimes it inspires you to say, oh, I want to gain that competence. I want to be competent like that. I want to do what it takes to become competent. Other times it just blows you out of the water. It's too much. You're like, how could I possibly, ever paint that picture? How could I possibly ever play basketball like Michael Jordan? How could I possibly ever talk to girls like Professor Plum? How could I possibly ever understand this material in class like the teacher? How can I ever be a writer when this this literature class, I'm reading these classics. These writers are so amazing in their arrangement of words, sentences, paragraphs, ideas, themes, context. It's so intricate and detailed. I can never get to that level. The problem is you are competing. You are competing with a guy next to you for something that cannot be competed for. You're competing for, I don't want to go back into old terms, but something we call functional value. Let me be more specific and let me speak in non-extraterrestrial language here. When I am referring to functional value, that is, I'm being redundant. When you are functional, you are valuable. That's why we got rid of that term. We didn't realize how retarded it was. Because we were talking about degrees of value, and we realized the highest degree of value is just being functional. Like, for instance, there are, you could eat through intravenously. If you're in a car accident, you can't eat through your mouth. They're going to plug a needle into your arm and feed you intravenously liquid. That is one way to eat. They could cut your stomach open and shove food in there, I suppose, theoretically, and you could digest it. So that's another possible way of eating. Or you could eat food through your mouth, like 99.9% of the people on Earth. You could also eat in very wrong ways, like trying to eat food through your ear, or through your belly button, or through your ass. There are various ways you could try to eat, and there are also degrees of ways that you can eat, technically, but they're not correct ways of eating, like being fed intravenously through a needle. That indicates there's a problem with your eating. That's not a normal way of eating, but it's possible to do that. So once you're eating through your mouth, you're being functional. You're eating functionally. How you were intended, how you were designed to eat was through your mouth, not through a needle, not by sawing open your stomach and shoving the food into your stomach directly. It was meant to be chewed, swallowed, and enter through your mouth and enter into your stomach that way. So that's how you're functionally designed. When you are, let's call it achieving eating, you're not really achieving, but I'm trying to make an analogy here. When you have achieved this eating point, this functional eating point, the correct way of eating, you are at the highest degree of value possible as an eater. So you are what PUAs or pickup artists would term high value. You're a high value person. You're a cool guy. You're eating correctly through your mouth. You're a cool guy. You're telling a DHV story, bro. Yeah, that type of thing. Mystery method, cat in a hat type of thing. So when you achieve your highest function, you're basically just becoming normal. You're not being Superman. You're becoming normal. And that is the highest value. Listen to me again. When you achieve a normal functional level, that is the highest value possible. Okay? Let that sink in. That means all these other frivolous things that have nothing to do with being functional. You could eat with a gold fork. You could eat with your pinky sticking out. You could eat and talk at the same time. But getting that food into your mouth is the functional way to eat. All these other things are frivolous, extraneous things that have nothing to do with value. Now, you can assign value to them. You could say, it's cool if I eat with my pinky sticking out. It's cool if I eat with a gold fork. It's cool if I eat in a mansion. It's cool if I eat a certain type of food. But those things depend on you believing it, and depend on you making the audience or the other person that you're interacting with believe it. If they don't believe it, if you stop believing it, it stops being valuable. But whether you believe it or not, eating through your mouth is always functional. It's always valuable. When you're doing things correctly, functionally, those things are always valuable, whether people believe it or not, whether they want to believe it or not, regardless of what they think, regardless of how they feel, those things will always be valuable. Those things will always be functional, thus always valuable. So when we talk in terms of value, we're always speaking about function. There are infinite number of degrees of dysfunction. There are infinite number of wrong ways to do something. There are infinite number of wrong ways to try to eat something, like through your ear, through your belly button, through your ass, through a needle, by cutting open your stomach and shoving the food in. But there's one correct way to eat, through your mouth. When you achieve this one correct way of eating, you are you are functional. As long as you're not hitting that 1 degree of function, every other degree surrounding that degree of function is dysfunction. It's dysfunctional. It's either a preference or a wrong way of doing something, or a way that's just not as correct as the one correct way of doing that one thing. So for everything in life, there is that one functional way of doing it. And the closer you get to being functional, the closer you get to that one way of doing things, the more valuable you become. You know, when I'm speaking to a girl, the reason why I stress the principles regarding social interaction is because there's a lot of things I say that are frivolous, that are extraneous, that sound cool, but they're really nonsense. They're really not essential. They're even dysfunctional. If they're not essential, they're dysfunctional. So a lot of things I'm doing are dysfunctional. In the long run, if I keep doing those things, they'll hurt me in the long run. For instance, let's say I'm joking with a girl and I'm being sarcastic. That may be funny, and that may help me get somewhere. But if I continue to be sarcastic, if I continue on that route, that will actually, in the long run, work against me. It's deceptive because initially it seems like, oh, it's working. You're sarcastic. Girls are opening up. So I should be sarcastic. This is where you guys get fooled in social interaction and doing a lot of things for that matter. For instance, like food. If something tastes sweet, oh, this candy bar is really good. It tastes good to my mouth. It must be good for me. In the short term, yes, it's satisfying. But in the long term, if you eat candy bar after candy bar after candy bar day after day, you're going to experience pain in the form of health problems, in the form of, all kinds of things associated with eating that candy bar. The same thing, if you keep being sarcastic, you're going to experience all kinds of problems interacting with people in the long term. In the short term, you may get a laugh. You may get a buddy for that day, for that party, for that event, for that circumstance, for that situation. But in the long run, if you keep doing that dysfunctional thing, you'll reap it in the form of pain, in the form of a negative overall outcome. So if you're, let's say you're going towards a functional destination with a girl, which is eventually a relationship. If it's not going towards a relationship with a girl, it's going to end up dysfunctional. All these guys talking about my threesome lifestyle, my lifestyle with multiple girlfriends, my lifestyle with my harem, these guys are fucking delusional, fucking retarded, fucking naive, or fucking any other adjectives, descriptive terms you can think of to denote a guy who does not know what's going on, who has no idea what's going on, who has no experience with women. Guys who have no experience with women or are starved of women or starved of female companionship will think that, hey, I want 5 girls tonight. I want to have as many threesomes as possible. I want to have as many sexual partners as possible. I want to date as many women as possible. Once you get experience with women, or if you're a guy who is very experienced with women, you realize that this is a myth. You realize that this is a farce. This is a lie. This is something your delusional mind tells yourself when you're starved of a nutritious, beneficial relationship. If you're not able to socialize competently, you'll develop delusions, just like if you're starved long enough in the desert for food or of water. You'll become delusional. You'll hallucinate. You'll see things in a skewed perspective. You'll distort things to fit this starvation dynamic that you've developed. This abnormal pattern of living, this abnormal pattern of behavior. Just the same thing works with social interaction. If you have an abnormal social life, meaning you don't socialize, you play video games all day or you beat off all day, and you're just in your room, you're away from people. There's this thing called cabin fever. It's when guys used to hang out in the woods or nature too long by themselves without any human contact. They just go fucking insane. They go delusional. They just start distorting everything. Their mind starts distorting everything. It starts inventing companionship. That's what you hear about invisible friends. When people are cut off from social contact, they invent their own friendships. Why is that? Because their mind is thinking of all these desperate, extreme ways to meet the social need when there are no people around to meet it in a normal way. So you need to be careful. If you're starving yourself of social interaction, you're guaranteed to become delusional. Nobody is immune from it. It's not a matter of experience. Like, even if I just go away for a year and don't have any human contact, as much as I know about social interaction, I'm guaranteed I'm going to have some delusions and distortions about how things are, about my perspective, my view. It'll change, even though I'm aware of things, just because it's just like starving yourself of food. You will not be in a normal state of mind. You will not be in a normal state of body. So, what was the point again? I hate when I try to develop things, speaking about them, and I don't have anybody to get me back on the point. It's just like I start wanting to cover this other detail and more clearer aspect, or I want to make sure I cover it thoroughly, and I get sidetracked and don't get back to the main point. Okay, so let me see if I can talk my way back from the forest. So you want to avoid becoming delusional, of course. Thanks for that tip, Professor Plum. Avoid becoming delusional. Step 1. Great, thank you. Okay, so after you avoid becoming delusional, what's step 2? What was I talking about? Step 2. Step 2. So I'm getting distracted by various things. I'm sitting in the parking lot and things are whizzing by, and also I'm about to call this chick to figure out where she's at. Make sure she's not lost. But let's see if I can snap back to attention here. Okay, so let me close my eyes, concentrate, focus, Plum. Just focus. Focus on the light. If you starve yourself of social interaction, of healthy social interaction, you'll become delusional, you'll become distorted in your view. This is... I'm so lost in the woods right now. I'm going to have to review what I said so I can come back and listen to it. I'm going to call this chick. I'll get back to you in a second. Aha, I remembered. Okay. Function. There we go. Function. This all ties back. This all goes back to being functional. So, if you're not on the one way of doing things, if you're not the one way, if you're distracted, text message. If you're not aligned with the 1 degree of function, the functional way of doing something, you are dysfunctional. Okay. And the highest value, again, is achieved by becoming functional. Once you're functional, you achieve the highest value possible. So again, all this extraneous bullshit that I do, that you'll catch sometimes, I'm being sarcastic, I'm ridiculous, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Some of these things, where I'm applying pain, applying pleasure, great. Others, where I'm doing something that's not necessary, or that's, like I said, I give an example. If I'm being sarcastic, and I continue to be sarcastic throughout our entire relationship, that'll work against me. Eventually, I will lose this girl because I'm just being sarcastic. Sarcasm is an indirect way of speaking. It's not functional. It'll cause you problems if you continue to rely on it in the long run. It's like being passive aggressive. It's like a chick way of getting your expectations met, and it's just going to cause your relationship a lot of problems. So, again, if you're functional, you're going to be doing things one specific way. And I don't mean just the same for person to person, but I mean in general terms. Like I made the example of you eating through your mouth. In general terms, we're going to interact in the same way. I'm not going to be so special and so super cool, so on such a high level above you that I communicate in a different way than you communicate. No. In the same sense that we all eat the same way through our mouths, we all speak the same way. We all rely on the same principles. All the other stuff, frivolous, extraneous, unnecessary. Okay, so when we're talking about being functional, we're not talking about who's the coolest guy in the room, who has the most women around him in the room, who is dressed the coolest, who is speaking the loudest in the loudest voice, who is saying the most interesting things, who has led the most interesting life. Those things have nothing to do with function. Ugh! Why don't you interrupt me again, bitch, so I can just totally lose my train of thought? Again, those things have nothing to do with function. Oh, fuck, now I totally lost my train of thought. And the choo-choo train is back on track. Okay, so those things have nothing to do with function. When you are following the principles of social interaction and interacting according to those principles in that one specific way, you are functional. You are the most valuable person in that room. Being functional means being valuable. When you are functional, you are valuable. That should give you hope, because that means you don't have to aspire to be a guy wearing fucking goggles and a top hat and guy liner and black nails and doing magic fucking spells, making people levitate. You don't have to do that gay mystery bullshit. You don't even have to be as funny as Professor Plum. Ha 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 ha. What a relief. You don't have to be as abrasive as me. I was just considering, next girl I want to talk to, or if I record something, I want to try and speak to her like a nerd. Well, I'm following the principles, but I'm just toning it down and not being so over the top, or not trying to do anything. I'm actually not trying to be so crazy. I'm just trying to experiment and try new things while I'm talking to her to see what I can get away with, and also what types of principles I can cover, how I can lead her, how I can apply pain, how I can apply pleasure. So I'm not necessarily trying to be over the top on person, but I know after listening to part of it, I was like, this sounds like I'm in a circus act in some parts of this. I'm definitely not trying to, juggle or doing anything spectacular while I'm talking to these girls. If anything, I'm trying to do just the opposite, just to benefit you guys. And I realize at some points I start just going off and expressing very vividly and in a very picturesque way, because I'm very good already just at painting my experiences and bringing you into my experience. So I know that can be difficult or intimidating for new students who are, used to saying, "What's up, bro?" as the extent of their expression. So I know that can be difficult or intimidating when you first start off, but again, this comes through practice, through constant practice. So I'm trying to do if possible, the bare minimum of communication to show that it's possible to talk to people. Because you're not always going to be talking to very educated girls. You're also going to be talking to girls who are, who are also socially retarded in their own respects, or they're either stupid, or they're not very well educated, or they're not very well spoken, or they're super duper shy. Like this girl I talked to last time, super duper shy, and they're just not socially adept at having a conversation. So you're going to have to lead them. So you don't have to be super duper cool. You just have to do the basics. The basics. So, again, practice to achieve the basics. And the main enemy here, like Wolfgang mentioned in his post, he said, disclaimer, I don't know about the others, but while I was listening to the podcast, all I kept saying to me was, wow, Professor Plum is so cool. I've never thought of saying something like that. Right. Again, another thing your mind tells you, like, you have to be at this level. You have to say what this guy is saying. If you don't say exactly what this guy is saying, you're not going to be able to create attraction with a girl. That's complete bullshit. That's mystery method bullshit. That is, you have to jump through X, Y, and Z hoops to achieve attraction. Utter, complete bullshit. Just like we proved with, when I went to buy a $5 outfit from the Salvation Army, we proved right there peacocking's bullshit. If I can talk to 2 girls for an hour, attract them, get their phone numbers, we know that dressing cool is fucking retarded. It's a retarded theory. Just disproved right there. Total bullshit. So, I'm trying to demystify social interaction for you. I'm trying to make it accessible to you. I'm trying to make it so that you can understand that this is a normal process that you should be involved in on a daily basis, not some super duper thing like you're playing the cello in front of 1,000 people. This is like eating food. Social interaction should be like eating food. Right now, you guys are so starved with social interaction, compared to eating food. It looks like juggling bowling balls while standing on a piece of thread and, throwing in chainsaws in the process. This is not social interaction. That is your delusional view of social interaction. Social interaction is a normal thing for people. If you're not interacting with others on a regular basis, you are socially abnormal. You are starved of social interaction. So that's why it seems like such a daunting task, such a daunting thing to hear people interact socially. To hear me interact with a girl, it's such a daunting thing because you guys just don't interact with people in general. Or even with other guys, like on this forum. There's nobody even talk to on this forum other than to type. You can't hear their voices. You can't physically hear the sounds they're making. All you can see is the words on the screen that form images in your head. That's it. And even you have trouble doing that. That just shows right there what type of abnormal situation you guys are in. You're starved of normal social interaction. So, of course, your views are going to be delusional. You are your own worst enemy. Your delusional views are your own worst enemy. If I could just get your mind to shut the fuck up and that you just did exactly what I told you to do, you would get there eventually. It would be super slow, but it's better than, being self-defeating. I could never fucking do that. It's too amazing. I could never be that person. Your delusional views are preventing you from doing something that's functional, that's normal, that you should be able to do. No problem with just enough practice. It's just like eating. You're so starved. You're like, I can never eat food. I can never use my mouth. That guy chews so awesomely. That guy, look at him swallow his food. Look at him chew that salami. Chew that salami. So I was enjoying my image there. Look at him chew that spinach. Look at him chew those carrots. Look at him gulp that Kool-Aid. Look how awesome he's drinking that water. I could never do that. No, dummy. Your realization is preventing you from doing that. You actually can do that. You have all the required tools. You have a mouth, you have teeth, you have taste buds, you have a stomach. You're set. That's all you need. All you need is just to do it. You need to practice it. You need to get familiar with it. If you've been eating through your whole life intravenously through a needle, chewing with your teeth will feel weird at first. You'll have to work those muscles, and eventually you'll get the food down. You have to practice learning how to be normal again. This is like social interaction. You have to practice speaking to people, interacting with people, practicing applying pain, practicing stimulating girls, applying pleasure. You're going to have to practice these things so you become a normal person. This is a normal part of your social life. This is not something super fantastic out of reach for you. Your mind, your delusional mind is making it seem that way. The way you see things is seen through this distorted delusional lens, this starved lens, this damaged lens of your social interactions. You need a new lens. Okay, so this guy, he goes on, Wolfgang, he goes, I do not speak well. I would have never thought of saying something like that. I'm not that observant or as insightful as Professor Plum. I do not speak that well, etc. I kept invalidating myself, saying, I'm hopeless. I will never be this good with a girl. Again, his delusional mind is speaking up. It's expected. I was ready to say, fuck it, go lie in my bed, listen to 808 and Heartbreaks, and of how fucked up my life is, and of how fucked up your grammar is. Don't forget your fucked up grammar. So, again, this is, I totally relate to this. This is how I used to be too. And even I still have some hints of this. As as competent as I am at social interaction, let's say I haven't talked to a girl in a long time, or just like maybe for a long time, it would be for me like a week or 2 weeks. That's pretty long for me. I will feel bad. I'll feel like, oh, I can't do it. I mean, I'll still have this tension. I'll still, because of the training I've had and practice I've had, I realize, just like anything else, your mind's your own worst enemy. Your distortions are your own worst enemy. And once I get in the flow of things, it's just kind of like reflex. It's like eating. You don't think about it. You just do it. It's just like riding a bike. When you first see somebody riding a bike, you're like, oh, that's a daunting task. That's like juggling knives. Once you get on the bike, you realize it's nothing. It's just pedaling. It's just a rote function you could practice and perfect in about an hour. That is social interaction. Once you get the ins and outs of social interaction down, it doesn't matter what your mind delusionally tells you if you've been starved of social interaction for a while. I know this. Like when sometimes I'll just be like, oh, I'm a loser. I haven't talked to anybody. Nobody likes me. And then I'll just see a girl I like, and I'll be like, oh, I want to talk to that girl. So my desire kicks in. I go talk to her and just start speaking, and it's just like reflex. It's just like riding a bike. It's not because I realize I don't have to go into Superman mode. I don't have to start saying these super special lines, super cool things to attract this girl. It is a normal process that happens daily between people that you will be able to do with just a little bit of practice. Just like talking to a guy. If you can attract a guy to become a friend, you can attract a girl. The same thing, the same dynamic is being used. The only switch is with the intention. You're not trying to sleep with your guy buddies. You're not trying to form a sexual relationship, an intimate relationship with your guy buddies in that sense. You are still being intimate with your guy friends. Some of you aren't. Some of you still haven't learned how to be intimate with guys. And I don't mean in a sexual way. I mean just sharing your lives and getting personal with your friends to the point where you feel like you know them. This should be a normal habit for you and your guy friends. If you can do this with your guy friends, you can do it with your girlfriends or with girls that you know that are in your social circle or at your work or wherever you see girls on the street. You can form a friendship or relationship with them just as simply as with a guy. It just takes that practice. And the only difference is you're switching the intention. With a guy, you're not trying to get into a romantic relationship. With a girl, you are. You're just switching the intention, but it's the same way you would speak to guys. The same principles would apply, social interaction-wise. So it's not something super special that you're doing. It's something normal. You need to get this mindset. You need to get this realization through your head. And a lot of times it's hard to get a realization. It's easy on paper to say, yes, this sounds right. This sounds theoretically correct. It sounds like a good idea. I want to get there. But that realization, that has to be burned in through the pain, through the practice. You realize, oh, it is a normal thing. It is manageable. It is possible. It is practical. It is not an out-of-reach thing. It is a regular, everyday thing. It just takes practice. It's just like writing. When I was in, second grade trying to practice cursive. Such a daunting task, right? Such a good movie. Such a difficult cursive letter to form. Yeah, I didn't know if I could form it, but now here I am later, and I think of cursive writing. I'm like, I haven't written cursive in, I don't know, the last time I wrote something in cursive, other than my signature, which is not even a real signature if you saw my signature. But, I don't remember the last time I've written something in cursive, like a full sentence or a full word, but I could still do it. It's not a daunting thing even now that I haven't written in like ages, centuries, years, something in cursive. But it's just a practice thing. It's just a matter of practice. It becomes like a rote function. This is just like social interaction. Opening your mouth, talking to your friends. It's not when you have your friends and you enter into your friend's house, you start talking. It's not like, oh, what do I say to this guy? Do I greet him? Did I say, what's up, bro? Did I high five him? Did I ask about his day? Did I joke with him? Was I funny enough? Did he like me? Did he accept me? You don't go through these nonsensical mental gymnastics, the same gymnastics you go through when you talk to a girl. So these, interacting with people, the problems you have with guys are going to be the same types of problems you have with girls. If you're not able to get your expectations met with guys, good luck getting them met with girls. If you can't make friends with guys, good luck attracting girls. Not going to happen. At least you may even be able to get a girl, but keeping her attracted long term, going to be difficult. If you can't stimulate a guy, you're not going to be able to stimulate a girl. I know how that sounds. Sorry, I'm laughing at it. Okay, so let's go on here. So when he did the disclaimer, it hit me like lightning, and I said, Eureka! Just like the guy who invented the light bulb. Oh, your grammar's killing me. A mask was removed from my shoulders. All these years I got it wrong. I finally realized I do not need to do or say what Jay-Z, Professor Plum, Michael Jordan, or any one cool person I looked up to growing up. Okay, let's translate this into English. Yes, he does not. He's saying he realized he finally didn't have to be like Michael Jordan or these idols he has. This is correct. This is a great realization. This is awesome. I wish more of you guys would write about your experiences, because then I don't have to explain them. This is perfect. This is awesome. This applies to all the students at Manhood Academy. I just need to express Wolfgang, right? He just needs to practice his expression, work on his expression, practice his expression. What I was trying to do was not only time wasting. Yes, you waste a lot of time. You're worrying, being anxious. I can't do it. You burn a lot of calories just doing that. Beating yourself up takes a lot of energy. But also impossible. It's impossible. I cannot be these guys no matter how hard I try with seeing value as a limited resource. Yes. Like there's only 10 value units, and if I don't get 9 of them or 2 of them, I'm going to be out of value. There's no value to go around. Like value's a pie, and we all have to die for a slice. No. Remember, again, value. Fuck these retarded PUA terms. Fuck these retarded PUA theories. Value is related to your function. If you see a PUA with a fuzzy hat talking about DHV stories and high value, bro, I want you to fucking punch him right in his vagina. Knock his clitoris off. Remember, value is related to your function. If you are a functional human being, you are valuable. It doesn't depend on me. It doesn't depend on Michael Jordan. It doesn't depend on Jay-Z. It doesn't depend on anybody but you being functional. You are competing against yourself, you weenie. Knock the shit off. Just become a functional person. That is good enough. That is adequate. That is perfect. It's hard enough to become functional. Don't make it so crazy that you have to be Superman, have to be an extraordinary person, this extraordinary poet, this extraordinary writer. No. You just have to be functional. You don't even have to get to fully functional to attract women. You don't realize how dysfunctional guys are today, and they're still attracting women. That just goes to show you, with enough effort, you can be a retard and still attract a girl. You don't have to do it perfectly. There are guys who are not accurate, who have retarded theories about life, who just make no fucking sense whatsoever. But just because they're practicing some of the principles unwittingly, unconsciously, like leading a girl, giving her the direction, even though it may be the totally wrong fucking direction. You know, he may be convinced the North Pole is in Vaughn's or Albertsons, but he has no idea where north is. He has no compass. He's going east or south, right? But because he is taking the initiative to apply pain when she doesn't agree and applying pleasure when she agrees, guess what? She's attracted, even though they're going in the wrong fucking direction. It's not even functional authority. He's not even being functional with his authority. He's not even helping her in the long run. In the long run, they're both heading over a cliff, but she's so attracted, she's going to dive over that cliff with him. Ideally, he should be functional and going in the right direction, going north. But even as a retard, as a retard, he is still able to attract her because he's still practicing. He's not in Manhood Academy, but he's still practicing the principle of being the guy, of leading, of stimulating, of giving the girl the direction, of him setting the tone, of him being in charge. He's still attracting her. Now add function to that, and wow, now you've skyrocketed attraction. Not only are you leading her and fulfilling your function as a guy, now because you're giving her functional knowledge, you're stimulating her with something that's going to help her in the long run. Whatever meets her needs is functional. And when you meet people's needs, that is the most attractive thing possible. I can't stress it enough. When you are feeding me adequately, when you are clothing me, when you're making me happy, like in those ways where I need my needs met, where you're getting my needs met, that is attractive. That is attractive. That is the height of attraction. That is the epitome of attraction, meeting someone's needs. It's not special. It's not frivolous. It's not buying me ponies. It's not buying me Ferraris. It's meeting my needs. When you meet my needs, regardless of what I say I want, regardless of my dysfunctional wants, if you meet my needs, that's attraction right there. That's the most solid attraction possible. It's the most functional, that's the most functional way possible. Okay, in the next paragraph, he demonstrates some of the problems you guys are experiencing, like, it's a problem and it isn't a problem. Let me try and explain this here. He's talking about my French. Now, the point of French, when I was speaking French to this girl on the phone in the other podcast, I was saying something and I wasn't even trying to pronounce it correctly, and it was just something I learned back in grade school. You know, we had this like simple French lesson. So I spit out the only sentence I remembered. I could give a flying fuck about French. But because this guy is a nerd, and he has no fucking clue about the context of my usage here, he has no idea that I could give a flying fuck about French. I could care less about French lessons, about even being accurate. even this girl could give a flying fuck about being accurate. He doesn't realize that the principle I'm just demonstrating here is just leading the interaction, just giving her the cues, just telling her where the direction is. Now, my French may be totally off. I may be going in the wrong direction. Maybe she may think we're going north, and I may be telling her we're going north, but I may have no fucking clue. I'm going south. I have no idea that I'm going south. But because I'm leading it, applying pain when she's not meeting my expectations, applying pleasure when she is, she's still attracted. So learning French or saying this correctly in French is the last thing I care about. But because he's such a stickler for correct French, he's given me a lesson about chat, C-H-A-T, is a male cat, and C-H-A-T-T-E is a female cat, and blah, blah, blah. Who gives a flying fuck? What is this problem? I'm trying to, I know we spoke about this problem before. Dr. Ladice and I covered this a while back. It's the nerd lust for congruency, to be so ultra congruent. Like if you aren't so super duper accurate, people are just going to go, oh, I can't stand you. If you could be accurate to the 7th decimal place, I could like you. But since you're only accurate to the 5th decimal place, it's just terrible. I can't take it. So guys try to justify everything to the nth degree. They try to justify everything to the 7th decimal place. They try to justify everything to the most accurate definition. This is not to say you shouldn't strive for accuracy. Accuracy is great. It's always great to be accurate. But accuracy is not the gist of social interaction. You are not there to be a human computer to correct every single tidbit of information and making sure it's super duper precise. That is not the goal of social interaction. The goal of social interaction is to convey your person. You have to realize other people are dysfunctional. You are dysfunctional. For you to harp or to make congruency, to make accuracy the thrust, the height of your social interaction, is to abuse social interaction, is to misunderstand social interaction, is to misunderstand the point of even interacting with people. It's not to know French accurately. It's not to learn the difference in French verbs and subjects and blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to get on this guy's case. I understand he's just trying to be helpful, but again, I'm just trying to hammer home the point that a lot of you guys have this problem, is where you're so worried about justifying yourself properly. This is like when guys speak super duper fast, right? Like Flash, they speak at the speed of light to make sure that everything's heard because they're so worried about not getting everything in. This just means you're not able to get your expectations met. You're so used to people ignoring you, you think that if you speak 100 times faster, they're going to pay attention to you. You're fucking delusional. Delusional mindset. So, you're trying to learn how to be functional. This means not harping on the things that, like this desire to justify yourself to women, to meet women's expectation at the cost of your own. If you're not having a good time in the social interaction with a girl, it doesn't fucking matter if you know French forwards and backwards. It doesn't fucking matter if you know the exact time to the millisecond. It doesn't fucking matter if you are accurate about your work description, if you are accurate about the event you're describing. Your apologies, your justifications, all these things are letting her know your expectations are meaningless to yourself. You don't respect yourself enough to try and get her to meet your expectations. You are so ultra concerned with her expectations that you're going to justify yourself to the nth degree to try to make yourself look cool, to try to make yourself look smart. There's a lot of the reason why you guys are so afraid to even type on the form. You're so afraid to make a mistake. Like, if you make a mistake, I'm going to jump on, got you. Pi is supposed to be 3.1.4782769, not 28768, you retard. Like, I give a flying fuck about that. I expect you to make mistakes. You guys have to realize, I see you as retards. You guys think I don't see you as retards. You guys think I think of you as special, like I'm holding back, like, that guy, mother's son is actually a cool guy. He's actually a smart guy. That guy, mind boggler, he's actually a brilliant scientist. I'm just kidding with him. No! I actually see you as retards, as morons, as incompetent fools, as court jesters, as nerds, as dorks, as losers. Yes, your worst fears are realized at Manhood Academy. I see you as a fucking loser, and I admit to you, I don't want to hang out with you. I try to avoid contact with you if possible, because you are such nerdy fucking losers. I don't want to interact with you. Yes, you repel me. You need to accept that fact. Stop trying to fight that fact. Accept that fact, and work with it. Practice, in spite of the criticism. Practice. It's the only way you're going to get better, and I got to answer this call. Talk to you in a bit. Okay, once again, let me reiterate. I'm back. Where do we leave off? Practice. Don't take shortcuts. Practice. Don't be discouraged by the criticism. Practice. Don't fool yourself. Don't be like Concrete 80, one of our new students, who is a fucking delusional mess. Don't be like this douchebag, fooling yourself into thinking you're fixed in 2 weeks. Nonsense. Utter fucking nonsense. Remember that section in the ebook called Exposing Disorder in Yourself and Others? One of the biggest problems is you guys think you're doing well. It's ironic because you're in this class because you're fucking failures at social interaction, but for some reason you have this delusional vision that you're somehow doing well. Like you're going to hide your condition from the instructors. Like you're somehow special and different than the other students. Your problems are either much, much, much worse than them, or you're not as bad as them. One or the other. You just have this distorted, delusional view of social competence. And so you always try to hide the truth like it's going to make a difference if you're hiding it. It comes out. You don't understand. People are like open books. If you know how to read needs, if you know what needs are, then you understand people intrinsically, regardless of what they say or what they do. If you understand people's needs, you can read people based on what they say, what they don't say, and how they say it. People are open books. When you're trying to hide, that'll work if I didn't understand needs. If I didn't understand social interaction based on these universal principles. You are not above the principles of the universe. You are not above your own needs. So the only person you're fooling with your bullshit view of your own competence is you. Maybe the other students are just as delusional, but you mostly, because you're the one that's going to suffer in the long run. I'm still going to go on with my social interaction just fine. With my social interactions with other people, no problem. You, on the other hand, you're delusional fucking nonsense. You're I'm a little lost for words. Your desire to hide the truth, to hide from the exposure, to hide from the criticism, your desire to hide from your real condition, from your disorderly life, from your dysfunctional social interactions, that bullshit manifests itself in excuses, in delusional declarations. I'm doing so much better, I'm so improved, I'm so this, I'm so that. Fuck all that nonsense. I could give two flying fucks about what you think your condition is. I don't give a fuck. I've learned over time to completely ignore what students say. Not entirely. I'm not saying you gotta take this in context. I learned to ignore your bullshit assessment of where you were at. 9 times out of 10, I should say 99 times out of 10, you're way off the fucking mark. I just ignore it. You say you're doing great, I ignore it. You say you're doing terrible, I ignore it. I don't fucking care. Your assessment is worthless to me. As a student, your view of your social interaction competence or other people's competence or incompetence, totally fucking worthless to me. I could give two fucks about it. I'll give you a grand example here. Concrete 80, new student. Hey, Plum, I've been implementing Principles 101 for about 2 weeks now, and I've noticed massive changes. I'm not quite there yet, but I've moved so much in such a short time. Blah, blah, blah. You know, this to me, I could give a flying fuck what you think, because next week you're going to be crying in the fetal position going, I'll never make it, man. It's so terrible. I blew it with this girl, and I just don't know what I'm doing, man. I'm blowing it. I don't know what to do, Plum. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to write some fucking sad poetry and kill myself. I don't know what to do. Yeah, because you're fucking easily swayed by your feelings. You don't know what fucking competence is. You have no fucking clue what competence is. Competence is consistency. Over and over and over and over and over again, day in and day out. Whether you feel like it or not. Whether you want to do it or not. You do what needs to be done. That's competence. You can do it every day. I don't care if you're fucking pumping gas for a living. Back in the days when they pumped gas. Let's make the example more relevant. I don't care if you're mopping floors. Whether you want to mop the floor, you make that floor shiny. Whether you feel like coming into work today, you make that floor shiny. That's competence. If you can keep that floor shiny day in and day out, rain, snow, sleet, you feel like it, you don't feel like it, you're disciplined to do it. You have the training to do it. You're like a Marine with that mop. You're just fucking drilled over and over. People are yelling at you, you mop. People laugh at you, you mop. Your friends come in and laugh, you mop anyway. When you're trained and you can do something repetitively, consistently, over and over, you have fucking competence. When you come in all gleefully because some girl gave you a smile because you said something that made her happy, oh, look, now I'm competent. Now things have changed. You read something, you have an epiphany. Oh, look, I realized something. I'm a dork. I've been doing it wrong. I did it this way and it changed everything today. Who fucking cares? You're riding an emotional high. You're like a chick who just got diddled. You're like a chick who just got fingered. Oh, I'm feeling so good today, at this very moment. Everything's wonderful. Guess what? Glamour Girls, or what? Gossip Girl, Sex in the City 2, it's going to go off the air. Sex in the City 2, this episode, Sarah Jessica Parker, she's gonna get plastic surgery on that nose, and it's just gonna go horribly wrong. She's gonna be in tears. It's gonna affect your entire show. You're gonna be bundled up on the couch, clutching the tissues, chewing the popcorn furiously, waiting to kill yourself, because you're on an emotional low now. Your competence is a joke. What's competent is when you behave competently, when you show competence, when you do this day after day after day after day after day, and then you come back years later, not 2 weeks later, and you say, look, here's my life now. I've been doing this consistently. That's competence. You glad that you popped your cherry after 2 weeks? Who fucking cares? Whoop-de-doo. Right? You know what? I don't mean to belittle any accomplishments you've made. I don't mean to belittle any successes you've had, no matter how small. I don't give a fuck if you've gone up to a girl and you've said one compliment. It's the first time you've ever talked to a girl, and the first time you've ever had the balls to compliment a girl, and you say, hey, I like your hair. And she gives you a good response. She just smiles, says thanks, and walks away. And that makes you feel great. I don't mean to belittle that. But I do mean to belittle incompetent fucks like Concrete 80 who want to give me what they value and have not yet learned to follow directions. What's the first thing you're supposed to be doing? Are you supposed to be signing up as a student and then going off on your own merry way and doing whatever the fuck you want? No, you're an incompetent fucking retard if you do that. This book would never have been written if I let students do that. If I let you come in and run the classroom, no fucking way would this program be where it's at. No fucking way would this program have been written. If I can't get my own expectations met with my students, how can I ever fucking pretend to teach you about social interactions and expectation management, how to get things done on your terms? How could I ever teach you how to do that if I can't even get a fucking student like Concrete 80 to write his fucking introduction? No fucking way. I want to slap this I want to slap this Negro silly and say, look, you want to make me happy? Don't tell me your war stories. Don't tell me about how you improved in 2 weeks. I don't give a flying fuck about that. You know what makes me happy? When you follow directions, when you do it my way, that's what makes me happy. If you're doing it my way, if you're writing your introduction, if you're doing the grunt work, you're writing your expression blog or thread, whatever you want to call it, if you're recording your expectation management experiences, both failures and successes, you're just putting in an entry. You don't even have a fucking entry yet. You're sharing about something you have in the chat room, which is for chat room expression, which obviously means you're too fucking stupid to listen to the podcast about the chat room or read the post about the chat room. It just went in one ear and out the other. And you think that's going to make me happy when you ignore my expectations? You think that makes me happy? No. Fuck you, new guy. Screw your fucking head back on. Pull your head out of your asshole. Or as we like to say here, out of your assumption. It's a play on words. Pull your head out of your ass. Do things the right way. I will support you if you're following directions. If you're following directions and then you want to tell me about all this stuff, great. I'll thumbs up you. I'll give you the 2 thumbs up. I'll comment on your entry. I'll say good job because you're following directions. I don't care if you fail, but if you're failing while you're attempting to follow directions, that makes me happy. Failures or successes while you're not following directions, those piss me off. That means my expectations are not getting met. And if my expectations are not getting met, do you think I'm going to be incompetent fucks like you and give you a pleasurable response, a pleasurable experience? You think I'm going to hold you in my arms and go, great job. Thanks for not following directions. Thanks for totally fucking up. Thanks for undermining my authority in this classroom. Thanks for doing things your way and letting students know that, yeah, you can fuck around all you want. Listening to Plum is optional. Listening to Dr. Ladice is optional. Do things your way. It's Burger King. You think that's going to fucking get a pleasurable response from me? You're fucking high. You have no fucking clue what's in Principles 101. I've been implementing Principles 101. Bullshit. If you implemented Principles 101 correctly, you'd realize that self-discipline is number one. You have none of it. You can't even follow the fucking directions, you retard. You can't even make a fucking intro. If you're a new student, if you don't have an entry by now, and you've been a new student for at least a week, I want to slap your vagina off. Follow the fucking directions. Fear not following the directions. And I feel like sometimes you guys, it's just like going over your head. Like, you think I'm talking to the other guy next to you and not you. I don't know what your view of this program is. This classroom depends upon your student participation. This is not an American classroom. This is not where you can sit in the back. I know all about sitting in the back. I love sitting in the back of classrooms. You know, you don't have to be called on. Talk to your buddies in the back. This is not that. This classroom is for getting things done. This is not a classroom where you can jerk off. I don't allow that. That's because that's what makes me a competent teacher. If I let you jerk off in the back in this classroom, that means I'm incompetent. That means I can't get the job done. That means it's a waste of time for me to even teach. There is no back row in this classroom. You're all in the fucking front row. You want to know why? How about more importantly, you want to know how? I'm going down the fucking student roster right now. Let's go. Everybody's in the front fucking row. I'm not going to ask a question and then whoever has the best answer is going to raise their hand. I'm going to call on the best student. No. I'm going to call on every fucking student. Let's go to the administration pane. Boop. Logging in. Boop. Beep. Okie dokie. Let's go to users and groups. Manage groups. Students. Let's go to members in the student group. Academic 1. 1 post. Congratulations on failing at Manhood Academy. 1 fucking post. Join July 8th. What date is it? August 4th. A whole month and 1 post. Hit yourself in the vagina. You are a failure at Manhood Academy. Congratulations. Again, this is not to make you think that social interaction is impossible. I'm here to motivate you. I don't want you to go the private pile route in Full Metal Jacket and shoot yourself and try to hunt down your instructors. No. But I want to let you know that I am watching. I am aware when you aren't posting. I am miserable when you're not posting. I want you to fail in the classroom. I don't want you to fail in your head. That's the worst place to fail. If you fail in your head, if you fail in your realization, in your realization, you wouldn't have a realization if you're failing in your head. If you fail in your distortions and delusions, I can't help you because it's all in your head. I can't talk to you in your head. I'm not a mind reader. Dr. Ladice is not a mind reader. We need to know what you're thinking. That's why you need to practice expressing what you're thinking. How you respond to the podcast is so crucial. Your feedback is so crucial. Your experiences, like Wolfgang 85's experience of the podcast, is so crucial. This podcast wouldn't even be, I wouldn't even be having this podcast right now if it wasn't for his feedback. His feedback inspired this podcast. It wouldn't even be here without his participation. Consider the less you participate, the less I have to work with. The more I have to just come up with my own experiences that may or may not match yours, that may be above your experience level. I may not even know, I would hopefully get to at some point if I'm at least competent in social interaction, but I may not get to your issue for years because I don't even consider to come back to your issue, because you haven't even shared about it. It may take me that long just to get around to it, just to get around to covering it, because you're too fucking lazy, you're too fucking unmotivated, you're too fucking apathetic, you're too fucking woe is me, the world is crumbling around me, I can't do anything. Great. If you're going to be a miserable fuck, if you're going to fail, go ahead and fail, but fail online. Fail in the forum. Fail in a post. Tell me, I'm so miserable, I'm curled up on my bed, sucking my thumb, thinking I'll never get a girlfriend. That will make me happy. I'll actually be happy to. I know you'll think that I'll be judging you harshly and saying, oh, this guy is such a loser. Look at him. He's curled up on his bed, sucking his thumb, thinking the world's a travesty. But you know what? No. I'm going to support that. I'm going to acknowledge that. That's going to make me happy. I'm going to want to work with you. I'm going to pull for you. I always pull for the underdog. The thing you don't know about me, the thing you don't realize about me, you think I'm for the winner. I'm not. I could give 2 fucks about the winner. I care about the underdog. I care about the 69th guy on the team. Why did I pull the number 69? Not what you're thinking. Anyway, I pull for the 69th guy on the team, and there's only 69 guys on the team. I pull for him, the underdog. I've always been about the underdog. But if you don't open your mouth, I don't even fucking know you're the underdog. When you fail and you try to follow directions you try, that makes me happy. That makes me ecstatic. That makes me enthusiastic to help you. When you keep your mouth closed, like, who's our next guy? One of our top students, but also one of our top problems. Another guy who likes to keep things bottled up inside, franchise. One of our students that meets with us in person. A guy who likes to play his cards very close to the vest. This is not a poker game. Social interaction is not a poker game here. You need to lay all your cards out on the table. That's the only way you could win. Even if you have nothing in your cards, that is the only way to win at Manhood Academy, is to lay your cards on the table. Learning to express yourself where you're at. That is the way to have success at Manhood Academy. That is the way we can work with you. We can deal with what you're going through at Manhood Academy when you bring it to the forefront. When you learn that expressing yourself is attractive. Not expressing yourself is not attractive. You're learning how to be attractive. I don't know what some of you thought, that this academy would be different than any other institution of learning. That we would just take you in our arms and coddle you and give you a magical secret wand, and you just wave that wand and all of a sudden girls' panties are just flying open left and right. Guys are just high-fiving you, waiting to get in line to be your buddy. Did you think it was going to be like that? You thought it was just going to be a sweet downhill coasting ride? Ain't. Archangel. Put in the fucking effort. You have 0 posts. Join June 4th. June, July, August. 2 months, 0 posts. Congratulations on not getting around to your introduction. Congratulations. Fail. Manhood Academy, fail. Thanks for the $10 though every month. Thanks for wasting your time. I hope you're getting something out of it, because you're not helping yourself by keeping it all to yourself, by not sharing with your students your failures. You guys don't realize how important your failures are to success. You know, it's cliche to talk about it, because you're Michael Jordan. I was entrusted to take the game-winning shot 26 times and missed, and that is why I succeed, right? Sentimental, kind of cornball. But there's so much truth in that. What you don't realize is those failures. I know it looks like Michael Jordan, like he can fly in the air and dunk and score 1 billion points in a game, so how could he have weakness? But he's telling you something. He's trying to get to you. Even to you losers, he's telling you, look, those failures are important. Those 26 game-winning missed shots where the world is staring at him and he misses and screws it up for his team, those failures are important. Your small failures, your minuscule failures are important. You talked to that girl today and she didn't say anything, and you tried to ask the time and she just like walked away and you just felt so terrible. That's important to hear. That's important to record. You want to, you're just learning adjectives and you grew up in Compton and your subject-verb agreement sounds like like you're a Cambodian soldier across the border. Your English is painful. It sounds like pulling cats apart, pulling their intestines out of their mouth. Fine. Give me a terrible sentence. I can work with it. I can beat your grammar down. I can send you in the right grammar direction. I can give you some grammar criticism that'll help you improve your grammar. But anything is better than nothing. Anything is better than nothing. I'd rather hear a bullshit, crappy, awkwardly worded, unstimulating, non-stimulating sentence, something generic out of you than nothing. Anything is better than nothing. Concrete 80, 0 posts, July 11th. Well, we've just covered your failure in depth, so congratulations. Welcome to Failure Academy. Camp Travis. Camp Travo. Haven't heard from you in a while. Lay off the alcohol. Practice social interaction without social interaction crutches, which is alcohol. Stay away from the liquid courage until you learn how to interact socially without it. And if I'm lecturing the wrong Travo, Camp Travis, apologies, but I think you're the little guy with the ninja hood. Avatar, I forget sometimes. I confuse you with who's the other dude I confuse you with? Let me see here. I always mix you up with, not Filbert. I forget who I mix you up with, sir. Travo, but I know I do mix you up with one of the other students. Okay, let's move on. DKO. You are a monster. 83 entries. You are practicing, sir. I'm stimulated by some of your entries. Sometimes you talk about food. Sometimes you talk about mundane things. But I like that you're pressing the boundaries of your expression. You're very adept at bringing in minute details into your experience. Stimulating to some people, not stimulating to me. No, it is. You are stimulating in some entries. Not all entries, but some entries you are stimulating to me. But again, this is not how to specifically stimulate one person on planet Earth. I have different tastes from other people. But in general, when you can bring me into your experience, even if I'm not an auto mechanic and you are, if you can bring me into that experience, that's enough. That's enough to attract me. So all the things you talk about, some things I don't care about, I don't relate to, but the fact that you can bring me into that experience, that's the attractive part. Congratulations, DKO, on pressing forward. Congratulations on working with the criticism I'm giving you and going forward. Congratulations on failing openly. And you made a major mistake in social interaction when you're sharing about, I don't want to cover it right now. I don't even want to say it out loud, but you read about it. But you have balls. Even though I do think of you sometimes when you talk about your mom and dad as a little kid, I picture you as like a little kid, like a emo kid with pajamas on, talking about your mommy and daddy. Some of you guys, I picture you a certain way, but it's just my personal interpretation of your words. But you have a bravery about you, which is great, that you're willing to put yourself on the line. Now, that's attractive. That gets you into social interactions. That moves you forward. Now, you just have to practice managing your expectations. You have a lot of expression entries, but not a lot of expectation management entries. It would be better if you started working on your expectation management, because your expression is very good for this point. You need to match that with getting your expectations met. Don't just play to your strengths. Work on your weaknesses. Dooney, 13 entries, nondescript. You post so erratically that I don't even pay attention. I can't remember if you're the difficult guy, the disagreement guy, but this is Plum's classroom. He will talk in the third person. This is Dr. Ladice's classroom. It's our way or the highway. Dooney from Australia. Picture you with a little kangaroo hat. DSHO, who the fuck even knows? 1 entry. Congratulations. Welcome to Fail Academy. Oh, Faye Mendoza. I picture you with a little sombrero and a big sign on your forehead that says, I'm a fucking failure. I'm a foreigner. Foreigners I consider more of a fail. Just the fact that you're foreign and you're in an English-speaking forum. I figure you must speak some English to read the directions on how to sign up, unless you just start clicking buttons because you like clicking brightly colored PayPal buttons. But you're here. Participate. Get an entry in here. Get an intro. Start with the intro. 0 entries. 0 posts. Fucking fail. Yes, even foreigners can fail. Faye Mendoza has proved that. Congratulations. Filbert, you shy little sir with the balls on chin. I have a soft spot for you because, again, you express yourself. You only have 9 entries. You're also a failure, but you express yourself. You're pushing yourself out there, and you've opened up a little bit. And I know that you're the underdog. That moves my heart. When I find out you're the underdog, you're the guy who's not cutting it, you're the guy who's not making it, you're the guy who's worried about doing well. That moves my heart. That makes me want to pull for you. You're at least taking the opportunity to try and express yourself. I understand you're a failure. You're struggling. I was there too. We all struggled growing up. Some more than others, but we all have that struggle there. Somewhere. You're the underdog today. I'm pulling for you. Make some fucking entries. FOC, our resident serial killer. Also a student, met in person, but moved far away to Taipei. I don't remember. You got your girlfriend. Congratulations. You're still delusional as fuck, but I haven't talked to you in ages. I don't know what to say to you. You follow 500 different philosophies at once. That's going to fuck you over in the long run. Right now, I have no idea where you're at. Again, 0 entries, no sharing. You just like to chat. You're a lazy fuck. You like to do things conveniently. In the long run, that's going to come back to bite you in the ass. But you, like the other guys who like to hide things and keep things in your head, you're going to learn the hard way. Gunnar, join June 18th, 0 entries. Congratulations on your failure to impress the teachers. Congratulations on your failure to hide in the back of the class. You get the jerk off award. Congratulations, Gunnar. Now get a fucking entry in. Get your intro in. Participate. You want this academy to work for you? You have to participate. This depends on your participation. If you don't participate, Gunnar, guess what? Nothing gets done. You're like a retarded fuck paying $10 every month to get nothing done. Are you just here to hear the podcast? You here to see my nude pictures? What are you here for? Don't you want to get somewhere? I hope you're just there with Playboy models or something. You're just like, the Principles 101 was so amazing. The Principles of Social Interaction was so amazing. I just absorbed it by osmosis, and now I'm busy stuffing my mouth with vagina, so I can't speak, I can't type, I don't have enough time. My social interactions are through the roof. I'm enjoying friendships with guys, talking to girls. I have a girlfriend. I'm doing fine. That's why I'm so busy making 0 fucking entries. Most likely, I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that's not the case. High School 101, 104 entries, and 100 of those are in Indianese. The top Indian fail award next to Boggs. Congratulations, you're putting out the effort. Entries have slacked off as of late, but I like your effort that you're putting forth the effort. Keep practicing, keep failing in Indian, even though you're from a fail race. Keep failing online, keep failing in your entries, keep failing in your expectation management. Fail and go forward. The thing I like about you, you learn from your failures. You realize, look, I failed. The Indian award, what an embarrassment. You thought it was a trophy, but it was really an Indian fail. You realize, oh, fuck, I failed. But you are hard-headed. You have the Indian disease. You have the in one ear and out the other disease. The lack of listening skills. Much pain is needed to improve the Indian race. Much pain is in your future. To get a pleasurable social interaction, you have to learn to follow directions. You have to be able to listen. Congratulations, though. 104 entries. Very impressive. Boggs, the boggler. You are a fucking mysterious boggle. You make me pull my hair out, Boggles. But you're Indian. It's expected. You're making the effort. When you practice your expression, it's very attractive. It's very good. You love to beat yourself up, though. You love to go into Indian mode and say, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know what to do. The blueberry squishies, I don't know how to sell them. Bullshit. All fucking lame Indian excuses. You have great expression. You just don't practice. You have great expression. One day you came over, you just could not shut the fuck up. You were so high. You were like, I'm so happy. I finally got the secret. And the next week, I don't know what to do. Fucking Indian fail. It's so you're such a mind boggler to me. That's why I changed your name. Your name was Mind Runner, but I changed it to Boggler because you're such a boggle. You have such confidence, but you just, not confidence. What am I saying? I'm going delusional. You have such a capacity to attract people with your expression, but you just fail because you don't try. You fail because your delusional Indian upbringing teaches you that you can't do it. You have this mental block that says, I can't do it, when actually you can't. You've already done it. You've already proven that you have great expression. You just choose not to do it. You choose not to do it. You choose to follow your Indian training instead of training daily to get over that hump, to get over the barrier of, I can't do it. Fucking bullshit. You can do it. You have done it. I've heard you in person. You're in the class. It's complete bullshit when you say, I don't know what to do. You know how to be Indian. Congratulations on that. How about fucking getting with the program? You know what to do. You do know what to do. Mother, son, very impressive. Very impressive. That you are practicing your candid expression, but you've slacked off, and especially with the expectation management. A lot of you guys have zero expectation management entries, which is a big disappointment. Get on it. Practice writing about your failures. Mother, son, appreciate the feedback. Thanks for the valuable feedback. Get on it. You have ghetto grammar that makes my ears bleed, but I want you to work on it. Don't sound like you're from Compton and you just got out of the crack house. Sound like an educated person. Let's see. Paperclip. Oh, Paperclip brings it. You are another guy who likes to live in your head and not share anything. You like to not share what's going on in your head, and that is why you fail. As well as you're doing, you have a girlfriend, you're doing well, you fail because you keep things private to yourself. You think that you're going to solve everything in your head. Wrong answer. Practice sharing your experiences. I appreciate that you're coming out of your shell and sharing more and more. That makes you more and more attractive. When you're able to express yourself, that makes you attractive. When you keep it to yourself, that is unattractive. I hate that about you, that you keep things inside. Fucks your butt. For some reason, P-H-U-X-U-R-T, I always read it as fucks your butt. I have no idea what you're trying to say, and I don't even want to try and sound that out. One fucking entry. I don't even remember if that's your intro entry because it was so long ago. You're off the radar. Pull your head out and get with the program. Let's go. Private R.T. Tugger. What kind of ridiculous name is that? 2 entries. June 20th. Welcome to Fail Academy. I don't even remember you. That's how unmemorable, unattractive you are. I don't even remember you. I don't even remember you were a student in class. Congratulations. 2 entries. Are you fucking kidding me? Ronnie Mohammed. 1 entry. I don't even remember if it was an intro or not. It's so long ago. If I don't remember you, if you're not on my radar, that's a bad sign. You guys who are fucking up and failing on the forum, I know your name, like Mother Son, Moggs, I recognize you, that's a good sign. That means you're participating. If I don't even fucking recognize you, you got one entry, you barely even show up on the radar, I have to go to the groups and check all the student roster just to find you and remember that you're even a student at Manhood Academy. That's a huge fail. That's a huge fail. Ronnie Muhammad, welcome to Failure Academy. Scimitar. Fucking embarrassing. Scimitar, you got 5 entries. You're an enrolled student. You don't even show up to class. You don't even bother to email me, to PM me, to make an entry, to even talk about class. Did you suddenly magically improve your social interactions? You don't need any help? If that's the case, great. Money well spent, great. But if not, are you fucking insane? You don't even come to class? What? Insanity. Why sign up if you're not going to come to class? Why invest yourself? Why invest the time, the money, the effort if you're not going to come to class? It makes no sense to me. Again, another Indian fail. Congratulations. Welcome to the Indian race. I'm pulling for you. Come back. Come back. Participate. You're missing out. Vic, you are special case. Like every student here at Manhood Academy, special case. Learning to stop with a fucking nonsense comedian act. Learning how to take notes because you take lousy notes. Learning how to follow directions because you don't. 5 entries. Failure. But practice. You're going forward. I've talked about it. We've talked with you. You're going forward. That's great. That's awesome. You're going forward. Wolf. Yeah, I remember you from the seminar. You came one time to a visitor's class. Saw you one time. You got 3 fucking entries. I hope you're magically improving because that is a fucking fail otherwise. 3 entries? Are you kidding me? The only reason I do remember you is because you actually showed up to a visitor's class. I was actually impressed. Great. You're getting something out. You gave some feedback. That's great. That's awesome. I appreciate the feedback. But other than that, 3 entries? Are you kidding me? May? It's August, you fuck. It's August. You joined May 17th. You got 3 entries. What are you here for, the Good Time podcast? Get off your fucking ass and make some entries. Fail on the forum. Fail online. Wolfgang85, thanks for finally coming around. Thanks for finally opening your mouth. June 19th, 4 entries. Still a fail, but at least you're failing upwards now. Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for the inspiration. By the way, you're the inspiration for this entire podcast. See what happens when you participate? I give you content. I give you instruction. I give you stimulation. I give you joy. I give you pleasure. As painful as this podcast is, I know it's pleasurable because you're getting something out of it. It's moving you forward. This podcast wouldn't have even happened if you hadn't said something, inspired me to make one. I've never made 3 podcasts in a row. Are you kidding me? I used to think about, maybe I'll get around to it. Maybe. Pathetic. Students aren't participating. Who gives a fuck? I'll go do my thing. Big deal. And then every now and then I feel guilty, like I'm letting you losers stay stranded on Loser Island. I might as well throw you a podcast bone. But when you participate, that inspires me. That inspires me to talk about it. I have something to talk about. I have something to respond to. This is like girls. If you don't talk to girls, you don't say anything about yourself, you don't express yourself, what do they have to respond to? Girls are reactors. They're not initiators. They're not stimulators. They only respond to what you give them to respond to. I'm like the hot chick for your purposes. If you don't speak, I have nothing to show my boobs to. I have nothing to show my vagina to. I have nothing to kiss. I have nothing to show my goods to. If you don't stimulate me, I can't open my lady flower to you. If you don't stimulate Professor Plum, he cannot help you. He cannot teach you. He cannot address you adequately. Bling. Text message.